amaze us and have enabled the foundation to grow in ways far beyond our wildest imagination. Thank you for your support. None of this would have been possible without you. Since launching the foundation last year, we have focused our efforts on raising awareness of the prevalence of pediatric cancer and closing the severe funding gap required to source better treatments and improved drug delivery for our children. In recognizing the emotional and financial toll that follows a pediatric diagnosis, we took a holistic approach to conquering pediatric cancer by also providing emotional support and financial assistance to families. Our mission is to bring smiles and support to families battling pediatric cancer. And since our inception last year, we have donated over $140,000 to help conquer pediatric cancer. We promise to be short, so just a few quick acknowledgments for those that made tonight's event so very special. Jeremy, my brother, where are you? Is tonight's MVP, a title he often receives at the hockey rink. He took care of every single detail in planning and executing this evening to perfection. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Ronnie Jesselson, who sponsored all the wine for tonight's event through his company, Yatir Winery. A portion of profits from tonight's wine purchases and any additional purchases using our link go directly to the Ellie Ruby Foundation. Thank you, Ronnie, for your kindness and generosity. A big thank you to our other vendors who all provided their service free of charge or at a discounted rate so we can maximize our fundraise to support pediatric cancer families. I have the privilege of introducing one of our esteemed guests, our very special neurosurgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Greenfield. Many of you following Ellie's journey have witnessed the miracles we received from God at the hands of Dr. Greenfield. In addition to saving children's lives in the operating room, Dr. Greenfield co-founded the Children's Brain Tumor Project, a research lab focused on improving outcomes for children with rare brain tumors. Jonathan and I were honored to be invited to a conference and receive a tour of Dr. Greenfield's lab earlier this year. Entering the lab was one of the most sobering experiences of our lives. It made us realize how truly lucky we are. We entered the lab with a sense of joy and excitement to see firsthand the impact of the Foundation's grant made last year. We were the anomaly. Almost every other parent accompanying us walked in with tears in their eyes as they found the face of their child on the wall of the lab's entrance in memoriam. A powerful reminder to all the medical professionals working in the lab of their mission and why the work they are doing is so essential. The Children's Brain Tumor Project took many years of planning and development. The sequencing and targeted therapy testing performed on Ellie's tumor is the culmination of this journey, and we are so humbled to be able to support Dr. Greenfield's research for other families battling a pediatric cancer diagnosis. We are delighted and honored that Dr. Greenfield was able to attend tonight's event and was willing to share a quick update on his research efforts. So without further ado, our favorite neurosurgeon and artist, the famous Dr. Jeffrey Greenfield.
Well, Brittany and John, first of all, I think that I told you I wasn't going to prepare any remarks. I think it's more heartfelt to speak off the cuff because I think this is a very, bilateral fan club we've got here. I mean, obviously, I adore Ellie, and we're going to do everything we can to get her through this. But I think I have to give an opportunity for everyone here to salute both of you because what you guys have been through. All four of you. It takes a lot of grace and courage and patience to endure meeting after meeting where the news isn't always good, and you guys have somehow managed to be exemplary figures despite being young and having 3 young children. You kind of awe me with how well you've taken all of this, and the fact that you've taken on this foundation now is incredible. Thank you. Someone was, the Englanders were asking me about how to separate out the emotional part of my job from the technical part of my job. And I think the answer is that you can't really do it if you want this to succeed. You have to let the families impact you. You have to let the children move you. And that's what inspired us to form the Children's Brain Tumor Project. It inspires us to take a second job after what we do all day long. The lab is just a labor of love. And basically we've taken what was a dream 10 years ago that I started with a couple of families, just like you were in this situation, where we said, this isn't really an acceptable situation that we've got with respect to the amount of funding for pediatric brain tumor research, with respect to the types of treatments that kids have to go through, the long-term effects that these treatments have upon their development, cognitively, growth, emotionally. And so my partner, Mark Swaden, and I decided 10 years ago we were going to change that. And a couple of families started, and now, after 10 years, we're so thrilled that you guys are the latest family to throw your weight behind us. And we've got a thriving lab, 5 different clinical trials that are underway for pediatric brain tumors specifically. And I think the future is really, really bright. I honestly couldn't be more thrilled. I mean, I guess you guys know this, but everyone here doesn't know this, that Ellie's tumor is one of the first to sort of go through our new protocol, which allows us to not only sequence these tumors and find out what causes them, but actually to then screen thousands of different drugs against them with these fancy robots at Cornell that allow us then to target and come up with really rational drug design should this tumor ever come back, which it won't. We have something in our back pocket to deal with it. So the other thing is that we weren't even sure we were going to be here tonight, none of us, because Ellie threw us another curveball this afternoon. But I'm happy to report her scan looks great, so we're all going to enjoy ourselves tonight. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. The community that Ellie has behind her is enormous, and I know this is just a small fraction of the people that are pulling for her. I see it on social media. I know that this community extends well beyond New York City into Long Island, New Jersey, and reaches that I can't probably even imagine. And just know that everything that you're doing is going 100% towards kids like Ellie. There are far too many of them. This foundation is really going to provide a really meaningful difference in many children's lives. So there are lots of places to give money these days. God knows there are plenty of problems in this world. This is a great place, and if you can find in your heart to support this family, I can guarantee you it's going to go to good use. So thank you for coming tonight.
So I pulled the short straw that I have to go after Dr. Greenfield. So Dr. Greenfield, thank you. It's really simply not enough.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah, we did match, and I did see him earlier when he was in round, so I did copy him, so apologies. But thank you is simply not enough for what you have done for our family and the broader pediatric brain tumor community, so thank you. The foundation looks forward to continuing to support your research initiatives for years to come. While supporting research will always be at the core of our foundation, our efforts to provide emotional support and financial assistance is of no less importance. As many of you know, Ellie was readmitted to the hospital on Sunday evening and had another surgery Monday morning. Brittany and I had a difficult but unfortunately too familiar conversation with our sons on Sunday night. Why am I the only one that makes sound when I speak? We sat down with Brody and Grayson and told them that yet again, we would have to spend another few nights away from them while we cared for Ellie, while she was at the hospital. Grayson did respond and said, I'm going to become a neurosurgeon, and I'm going to perform surgeries at home so you guys don't have to go away. Dr. Greenfield, you might have a little competition. It sounds pretty good. But make no mistake, the decisions you know you need to make to care for a sick child do impact your other children. While Ellie may be the one undergoing the surgery and the treatment, the ripple effects that a pediatric cancer diagnosis has on an entire family is unimaginable. Brittany recognized this early on, and with the help of the Making Headway Foundation, an organization that supports families of children diagnosed with brain and spinal cord tumors, secured an amazing therapist that transformed the way our children are able to process their emotions and cope with the struggles that are an inevitable consequence of Ellie's diagnosis. I can say with confidence that we have emerged stronger, more unified, and more aware, and that is in no small part due to the emotional help we were able to secure for our children and ourselves. When we started laying the groundwork for the Ellie Ruby Foundation, we envisioned creating new programs and expanding the availability of services that we depended on. Due to the success of tonight's event, all thanks to every single one of you, we are able to take the next step forward in our commitment to providing emotional support to pediatric cancer families. We are honored that Dan Lipka, the Executive Director of the Making Headway Foundation, was able to join us here tonight. Dan, please join me. Please join me and accept this grant for $10,000 to the Making Headway Foundation in honor of a very special art therapist, Autumn Potter. Thank you for your organization's commitment to pediatric cancer families and continuing this important initiative that we know will be so impactful to so many. Thank you all again for coming out tonight, for supporting us, making all of this possible, and please continue to enjoy the drinks and the entertainment.